started to wonder, and I wondered, which led me to wonder. I had to wonder. I started to wonder. I couldn't help but 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 wonder.
Hello, welcome to Seagulls Make Do. I'm your host, Alex, aka an idiot stick figure with no soul.
No, that was mine.
That was very close to mine.
I can do another one because I've got another one, so I'll let you have this
I can do another one. It's fine.
Okay.
And I'm Stephanie, aka Twink's Awakening.
And I'm Summer, aka some 25-year-old girl, so also very close.
We got a guest this week. We have the wonderful Summer.
Yay! Hello.
Friend of the show. You might remember her from episode 3 when it was just me and Summer because Alex was away that week.
It's been so long.
Yeah, and this is my first time with Summer, so I'm very excited.
We are all excited because we're talking about the season 2 finale of Sex and the City, and this is also our 30th episode, which is kind of wild.
God, yeah. Wow, 30.
That's a lot.
This is a big one because it's season 2 finale. It's season 2 episode 18, X in the City. So since it's the season finale, there's so much going on. This episode is like 32 minutes long, which like for reference is a solid maybe 7 minutes longer than a normal episode of the show.
And about 30 minutes longer than it needs to be, I think.
I think like 2 minutes, just a quick.
Yeah, in and out.
Wow. We don't even get an in and out this episode.
I think Samantha could have stayed. I think she was fine this week, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Shall we jump into it?
I think we should
Since we're all friends.
Yeah, let's just get right in. Mm-hmm.
And this is probably going to be a long one, so stay tuned. So we start off with Carrie and Miranda flower shopping, as you do.
Just out of the just you do it.
I know it's Valentine's Day today for us, but like, whomst the fuck are they buying these flowers for is what I want to know.
I just like to have flowers in my home. I'm a very I'm an earth sign. I like flowers. I like naturey things to be surrounding me.
That makes sense.
It's kind of nice when someone buys you flowers. It's like perfume or drugs.
Absolutely.
True. You just
like
don't want to
drugs.
buy them yourself. Yeah. I mean, there's literally no difference between buying yourself flowers and buying yourself weed. Weed is a plant.
Like if you have to, but like it's kind of nice when someone else buys you weed. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And then doesn't Carrie say something about like getting married is a tough choice, but there are even bigger ones. Like, should I get the $3 flowers or the $5 flowers?
True, because the $5 flowers are going to last a little bit longer. So
that's true. Probably just a single extra day. It's extremely worth it.
It's extremely worth it. Actually, I think it might have been $5 and $10, which is even more a ridiculous price for flowers for what they were. They weren't big bouquets. They were just like flowers.
I think like one of the bouquets that someone held up was just like 5 flowers. It's like, great. Okay. I'm just going to hand these to my friends one by one.
And we start with the theme of the episode, which is obviously exes. And Miranda sees Steve walking down the street looking like Nick Kroll.
And yeah, well, he very much is. And he's like basically coming back from basketball or something. He's like in his basketball shirt. I think he's holding a basketball. he looks just like Steve because that's what. This
5'7" man has been playing basketball, and
oh my gosh.
With his glasses on, you can't jump with glasses on. That's a fact.
It's true. I don't think about these things. I'm a short, and basketball is a heightest sport, so I don't play it. I never think of this.
I'm not familiar with like the things you can and can't do with glasses on, just because I wear fake glasses. But
I do have beef with you because you wear fake glasses.
But they're so cute, so it's fine.
I know.
The last time I went to a theme park I asked Noah just kind of curiously. I was like, "Are you going to keep your glasses on for this roller coaster?" And he was like, "Oh, I never thought about it."
Oh.
So,
but Noahs are real, right?
yeah, they are.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
And he's worn them his whole life, so I don't know how he has not had this problem before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've more or less worn them. I've worn them since I was like 8, I think. And yeah, playing sports with glasses on is really annoying because they just slide down your face.
Oh, that sounds annoying.
Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, Steve. And then they do this thing. So like Miranda freaks out and like grabs Carrie and they run away.
Yeah, and like Steve obviously sees them too. Like he just looks a little bit confused and
well, because Miranda might as well have screamed. Like she does it so dramatically that how could he have not seen her?
Yeah, like if she just kind of pretended to hide behind something and just not see him, it would have been one thing, but she fucking bolts.
As she like grabs Carrie so aggressively that Carrie's coin purse goes flying, and I don't know how many times they had to have done this take, but there were just coins like in
it's good.
every corner of the screen.
Yeah, and she like throws the flowers at the flower seller and he starts shouting at them, which obviously is going to draw attention. This is just it's very cartoonish.
Yeah, it is kind of funny though because it's fucking Steve and it's like, well, I didn't want to have to watch them interact, so it's kind of nice that they avoided it for the meantime.
True.
That's true.
Yeah, it doesn't last. But moving on, we go to our classic brunch and they're all sharing chocolate cake with ice cream and the cake doesn't go down and the ice cream doesn't melt. It's beautiful.
True.
I tried to be sparse with notes because I knew this would be a long episode, but like everything was just distracting me this episode. I can't contain it.
Just let it out.
There's a lot of challenging sentences spoken in this scene. I had to like go back and like, wait, did she just say that? And then like I was still processing it and someone else said something and I'm like, whoa, I cannot listen this fast.
I think every episode, like every time the four of them are together, everyone is just saying like one-liners that it gets kind of overwhelming.
That's true, yeah.
I wish we could write down every single one and say them, but then that's just repeating the episode, so.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're talking about how, can you ever stay friends with an ex? ?
Yeah, Miranda's never been able to. And okay, Miranda is very me because she's just like, she basically explains like once she has an ex, it's like, okay, we didn't work out and you need to not exist.
Yeah.
Same, really, honestly. I very much kin Miranda and Samantha in this scene because men are just extremely difficult to be friends with for the most part.
I have male friends, but like for the most part, I don't know. I mean, I know there's a lot of women who have like the majority of their friends are men, but I can't imagine that being true for me. But I mean, obviously you can be friends with men without it being romantic though.
It sounds exhausting.
It is.
Yes.
I think I've always had like a majority girlfriends because I don't know. I mean, every time I've had a guy friend, well, not every time, someone's like, they've either liked me or I've liked them. So it's always been a bit like,
just stressful.
It's just stressful. Obviously I have guy friends, but most of them are already dating someone, so neither of us are looking at each other in any way.
Yeah.
So it's fine. But in terms of being friends with exes, I think it just depends how you break up. But most of the time, you're not going to be breaking up like mutually and you're both cool with the relationship ending. There's no harbored feelings. Like it's going to be messy 99% of the time.
Yeah. Otherwise, you would have stayed together if everything was perfect. Like,
yeah.
Like Miranda says like something about how I love the idea of having this harmonious sort of breakup and it's all you learn and you're mature about it. And I do believe that these kinds of like ex-couples can be friends. But I believe it with much difficulty.
Yeah, I believe it, but I've never seen it. I've never seen it happen. It's a bit, yeah. It's like Bigfoot.
Yeah, and I think it depends on like the level of friendship that you're talking. Like, are you talking you're still, you know, friends who want to hang out one-on-one, or you still hang out in the same friend groups? Because those are really different things. Like, because I feel like in this episode they try to make the former of those happen, where it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to try to, you know, go out on like a friend date with my ex where we just hang out the two of us. And it's like, that's really different. I don't know. It's different from like, I don't know.
I've also never really gone on a friend. Actually, no, I do that all the time. I usually hang out with my friends one-on-one. And I've done that with guys who are my friends. And then again, one of us had unrequited feelings for the other, so it didn't end very well.
Right.
Now I'm just thinking about that one Tumblr post that's like, God, I just wish that I had someone to go out with in a platonic way instead of like, you know, like dates, except for it's not romantic. And then it's just like, oh, you mean like having friends?
Yeah. Yeah, Samantha says that why would she have a male friend? Men are for fucking, women are for friendship. She's right, and she should say it.
Well, she's right somewhat, because women can also be for fucking, but...
True. And then that's where you get, like, galaxy brain. That's where...
Right? I was like, well, I mean... yeah.
I think Samantha also says something like... Or I think it was Charlotte who said... No, it was Carrie. Carrie was saying, like, once you break up, where does that love go? And then Samantha's like, it goes on to the next person. And everyone's like, oh, don't be ridiculous. But, like, of course that's how it works. Like,
yeah,
of course.
Because Carrie's a big romantic, and she's like, no, there's no way Big could love Natasha the same way he loved me. And like, shut the fuck, like, of course you're gonna have a different relationship, but like, he does love her.
I just love that she brings it back to herself. She's like, yeah,
well, she can't not.
I know we were talking about Miranda and Steve, but Big and Natasha.
And apparently Carrie goes on about how she's come to terms with it, and she's just happy for them now, which is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, it's not true.
Why even say it? But
I don't know. You can be honest with your friends.
Yeah.
Well, Carrie can't be honest with anyone. But she's, you know, she sort of says that, oh, we keep dresses that we're never gonna wear, but we throw away boyfriends. And it's just so fucking corny, because everything has to be about her or clothes.
the thing is, dresses are better than boys. So like,
True.
That's absolutely true, yeah.
I get kind of what she's saying when she says it's not the same love in some sense, because it's like, I mean, the way that you love one person and the way that you love another person can be very different. But like, at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's not like you have to be in a perpetual state of having love go somewhere. Like, I mean, and it also makes it kind of sound like, oh, when you're single, you just... Or I don't know. It makes it seem like you only have so much love to give when it's not really a quantifiable thing.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think even if you were a parent and you had children, you would love your children equally but differently, because you would love different things about them.
The love is always just like slightly different. It doesn't have to be like, oh, like he's replaced me with someone else. It's no, there's just a new person and a new love. The energy has been transferred, but the love is completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the end of this scene, though. Like, after Carrie, after she says, you know what, I've moved on and I'm just happy for them. And then, was it Samantha? She's just like, Natasha is such a complete bullshit name.
Fuck Natasha. That's stupid.
Just, oh, totally bullshit.
This is so ridiculous. They act like they've never heard this name before.
I know. And, like, I get kind of it, because, like, sometimes you're like, oh, well, have you ever met someone named Valerie who's been nice before? And I'm like, yeah. But it's like, some people just have this fixation where they've met so many people who are bad with this name, I guess. I don't know. But obviously here they're just being petty. But
that's me with Olivia's.
I do like how they had this whole like very deep kind of like introspective conversation, and then they really just cancel it out with this really petty ending to the conversation. It's very funny.
I mean, that's just Alex and I recording every night. We have this really deep podcasting session, and then we just throw it in the trash. We slam dunk it by just
being like, yeah, dicks, teas, fannies, you know. Yeah. All the good stuff. Yeah, I mean, then we get our question of the episode, which is, can you be friends with an ex?
A simple one.
It's a very straightforward question for once.
Yeah, but we do get some good maths metaphors beforehand, which I just, as soon as I heard, I knew you would be mad.
Yeah, she's like, in math, we learned that x is the unknown. A plus B equals X. Blah, blah. And I don't even remember what her point was about this. It's something about the unknown. I don't know. It made no sense.
It did not connect. No.
Carrie, just stop.
Yeah, Carrie Sharp challenge. So then we have, oh my God, this is when red flag. Steve shows up at Miranda's house, like her apartment. I was going to say house.
Oh my God, I screamed.
Steve is acting so fucking weird and creepy in this scene. Like, so weird. When we were...
Like, this has to be a building with security, right?
Yeah, how did he get in?
I would hope.
How is he there?
When we were watching this scene together, Noah said that all of his lines here sound like things you would say to someone right before you murder them.
That was a shitty thing you did, Miranda. Shitty thing.
Yeah. Well,
I think the first thing he says when he walks up to the door is like, I can hear you breathing.
What's that other Tumblr post? Like, the door is locked, you can't come in. Lol. I would just say, what are you going to do? I'm not going to open the door. What are you going to do? Yeah, he comes in and he's saying, that's a shitty thing you did the other day. It hurt me when you just left. Like, why does he show up at her apartment? This could easily be done with a phone call.
Well, it's the 90s, so...
Phones didn't exist.
Yeah, people don't be on their cell phones.
But, like, why does he have to even say it at all? Like, is there a reason why? Yeah. Why can't he just move on? Like, okay, I understand that it could hurt your feelings for sure, but, like, unless there was a reason that they wanted to keep their relationship even, like, as a friendship or anything, like, I don't really understand why he cares that much.
Oh, because he's a fucking creep and he needs to control her fucking life. And we've seen this. We've seen it happen before. It's going to happen again. He's a control freak.
Yeah, did he not have anything to do for the rest of the day? So he just followed her home? Or like,
well, he's a bartender, so he works nights.
Okay.
But also, yeah, he doesn't have laundry to do. He can't buy a coffee, go to the library, read a book, do literally anything that isn't shop at your ex's place randomly.
To call them shitty.
Yeah. And then Miranda gets quite upset, obviously. And she sort of says, like, well, it's a shitty thing you did just showing up here and having a go at me.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't really say that until, like, Steve is the one who says that, kind of, because he realizes he's made her feel so bad. Because, like, she's just like, well, I freaked out. What was I supposed to do? Like, I saw you and I don't handle exes well. And he's like, come on, Miranda. This is me, Steve. Come on, Miranda.
It's me, Steve.
And he's still just whispering this whole time, and it's still terrifying.
I don't know if he ever played a serial killer, but he should. That Ted Bundy film, recast it, because...
Yeah.
Maybe he could have played David Berkowitz. He's a real Son of Sam kind of guy.
Yeah.
Very New York as well. It would work.
It would be... I could very envision that.
Huh? Just him, like, fucking talking to a dog. Green light it.
Yeah, but it's so, I don't know, this scene is just so, I don't know, it reads as very manipulative to me because he unloads all this bullshit onto her, and then she gets upset about it, and she's like, I can't believe I did this shitty thing to you. You would never do anything that shitty to me. And then he's like, well, how about showing up and calling you shitty? like, yeah, you're right. That was pretty shitty of you. And
it's
very weird.
It's like kind of it's the manipulation tactic where you upset someone and then try and console them so you look like a good person, even though it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's just really fucking creepy and like a huge red flag. If anyone ever does this, just block them, do not interact with them ever. This is a very serious Sea Girls moment.
Yeah.
But eventually, they decide that they're gonna go on a friendly date, platonically.
Yeah, and they hug and gross.
Oh, it gets grosser.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were complaining about Steve in this episode earlier before we recorded, and I was like, was she talking about this scene or was she talking about the later scene? Because, like, both of them gave me hives, but in different ways.
Oh, I just realized a line I wrote down where he said, "It's me, Steve. I held your head when you were sleeping."
Oh, God.
Well,
yeah.
I held your head when you were sleeping.
Why would you say that?
I held your head while you were sleeping. This is... yeah, it's horrible. Let's move on to Charlotte, the horse girl.
Oh, the next scene is worse because there's a horse in it.
God, mood. Oh my God. Charlotte looks so good though. I fucking
She looks
so
gorgeous.
She does.
She always looks so put together even when she's just jogging down
she
in
has
New
like
York
a little
Street.
sports bra and like short set. It's so cute. For some reason this scene is filmed like she's seeing a really hot Spanish guy or something.
But it's a horse. Yeah.
It's a horse, but there's like flamenco music in the background and like zooming in to his face very slowly.
That's just what horse scores be like.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird kind of... There's a lot of weird sort of like back and forth between like horses and men in this episode, and they
also have the guy with the really gigantic penis later on too, and I'm like, out of all the horse comparisons they could have made, that is the one they didn't make. So
No, they called him a stallion.
They call him a stallion, but not his dick.
They have like a moment where he like makes a horse noise, like...
Okay, I clearly have blacked this out because I am traumatized by horses, so I clearly don't remember any of this.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I don't want an episode of Sex and the City to remind me of the documentary Zoo, but it's gonna. Yeah, they basically say that Charlotte, or Carrie's voiceover, Charlotte used to have a horse as a child called... Tatty?
Yeah.
Terrible name. Who threw her off and spooked her, and she never rode a horse again, but she loved it. Well, she did. Whatever. No one really cares. This is the most pointless fucking B-plot. Like, they could have just cut this entire thing out and the episode would have been a normal length.
It would have been much better.
True.
Yeah, that's it. It's just so fucking boring. And then we go on to Samantha and her stallion.
Yeah.
She's walking down the street in this gorgeous red dress with matching red lips, and she looks, in the nicest way, she looks like an escort.
She looks very beautiful.
I was gonna say she looks like $100, and then I'm like, well, like, I mean, I guess that kind of goes with what you said, but she looks so nice. She looks beautiful, and this guy looks like butt.
He looks very Italian. He
looks like if like Hercules and Mr. Big formed like a really bad to look at baby.
He looks like a fake Stallone.
Yeah, and not the kind of guy I would check out on the street. Yeah, and like they walk past each other and they're both like eyeing each other, looking each other up and down, and then she kind of stops at a store window, and then he turns around and comes back to talk to her and basically just leads with saying she looks amazing. And I mean, he's right, but also no one asked.
So they start flirting, and he just basically asks her out, and she says, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, he gives her his business card to call him, and then she just slips it in her bra and keeps walking, which is great. It's good. Love to put things in my titties. They're like the best pocket.
She's very brave. That's true. City girls don't have pockets in their clothes, so...
Well, true. If you don't have pockets, where are you going to put them? The other pocket is like a little inaccessible, so tits it is.
Yeah. Especially in public.
Like, could you imagine? That would be a fucking power move. Like, oh yeah.
So then, where else? Where are we after that?
Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie finds a Laura Ashley dress from the 80s and decides it's time to call Big.
Yeah, this is a great idea. She definitely thought this through.
Yeah, also great correlation there.
She's looking for any excuse, really.
Yeah, she should just Carrie needs to do the KonMari method
About how Big does not spark joy.
I was experiencing so much whiplash with this scene because she like pulls out her old dress and she looks upset, and I just assumed she was about to KonMari her controlled apartment. But no, it inspires her to call her ex for some reason.
I thought she was going to figure out if it sparked joy, which it clearly doesn't. And I don't think Big does either.
Okay, what I didn't get was that, so it seems like this is a spur of the moment. She's suddenly just inspired to call Big out of nowhere. But then when she's on the phone with Big, she says that she has a speech prepared. So which is it?
God, that's so true. I was just going to say, like, the whiplash continued when she, like, picked up the phone she just said, like, ambiguously to call an ex, and, like, a woman picked up, and I was like, oh, I guess she is bi or something. And then, no.
She's unfortunately the most heterosexual person, like, on the show. Everyone, the other three, I'm like, yeah, these are very clearly sapphic women. Not Carrie.
Carrie's their token straight friend who's like for some reason hanging out with them, and they're just like she's fine most of the time, but like
she is so and she seems really shocked that like Natasha would pick up the phone when she knows he's dating someone.
I mean, she also doesn't think it's that serious, though, right? So I think she thinks, they've only been seeing each other 5 months. Like, when they'd been seeing each other for 2 years, it's not like they lived together. It was serious, but, there were boundaries. So she probably assumes, Big's probably just by himself right now because he's that one man who's an island, so.
Yeah, and she hangs up the phone immediately. And then she goes, oh, no, I wasn't expecting her to pick up the phone. Then she remembered that Big had caller ID because that was a thing in the 90s. And she rings back and he picks up the phone and he's like, oh, hi. Doing his fucking smug bullshit act.
Yeah, and then Carrie's all awkward about it because she's just like, "Oh, I called, but then I heard Natasha ask Natasha how she is," and
I stopped paying attention at some point in this conversation because I noticed Big had one of those bottle openers that looks like a little man,
a corkscrew. Yeah, those are so fun. I'm with you. I always thought it looked like a woman, like an Elizabethan woman.
Yeah, absolutely. And Big's actor looks like he secretly has no fucking idea how it works. He's just kind of like twiddling with it.
Why would he? He probably has people who do it for him. So
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this is a boring conversation anyway, so I don't blame you. They eventually decide that they're gonna meet up for lunch and do this fucking platonic, let's go to a fancy restaurant and like what in what world does that seem like a good idea?
Yeah, no, it's a very date restaurant for sure. When we see it, yeah. Outfit she chooses to wear is extremely like date outfit.
It is a very cute dress though. Need me a dress like that.
I've been thinking this whole week that I have hardly any pink or red in my wardrobe and I really need some.
You would suit those colors well.
Thank you.
Because you look really good in orange. So, like, I feel like just warm colors are nice on you.
Aw. And then, so we go straight to the restaurant and Carrie's in her little pink dress and Big is very nervous and he's just sort of babbling on. He trips up the stairs as they go to the table.
He mentions the Cobb salad at this restaurant twice.
He's just like, oh, the Cobb salad's very good.
I don't even know. Is that the salad where it's in like sections?
I was literally going to ask if either of you knew what a Cobb salad was.
You know what? I think I've had one before and I fucking forget. That's useless, but
maybe it just has like those little mini corns in it or something.
I want to say it has like what are those hard-boiled eggs? I want to say it has hard-boiled eggs in it, but I think a lot of salads have that. So
yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, I will say I fucking want to fight a restaurant when I go there and the salad has like meat and eggs in it because it's a fucking salad.
That's true.
It's defeating the whole point. That's the one thing, like, when you don't eat meat and your friends take you to a restaurant and they're like, well, I'm sure they have salad. And you get there and it's like, not the salads aren't even meat-free, which is, that's something.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that if they take the meat off, they still probably charge the same price, right? Like, it's not even cheaper to take off chicken and stuff.
Yeah.
This sounds so disgusting, but I will read to you what a Cobb salad is if you want.
Yes.
So it's chopped salad greens, tomato, bacon, boiled, grilled, or roasted chicken breast, hard-boiled eggs, avocados, chives, a Roquefort cheese, and a red wine vinaigrette.
I mean, I'd eat that, though, is the thing.
Yeah, it's very not vegan, apart from the avocado.
Yeah.
Summer, don't listen.
That's just like a meat dish with like a leaf garnish.
Yeah. Whenever I make a salad, it's like usually like if I make a salad at home, I've like never put meat on it. I'll maybe get a salad with meat at a restaurant, but like at home, I love to make just like spinach salads with like lots of. Well, okay, so it's not vegan because I put a shitload of cheese on my salads, but it's like a goat cheese and like raspberries and some like mandarin oranges and like nuts, like the candied nuts. They're so good. And like kiwi and avocado. Very fucking good.
I think we had an episode where we did just talk about salads for like 3 minutes.
Are you talking about the episode where wait, no, there was no ass eating episode. There was an ass dicking episode, but not an ass eating one. Sorry, I got confused. Okay.
I don't know, but we did have a whole thing about like salad etiquette. This is a very rich podcasting experience.
Just one last thing about salad is that apples are a really good addition.
Salad, I agree.
They're ideal. Apples are like 100% tastier when they're cut up for some reason.
With lemon juice.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah.
Both of those. So, yeah, he's nervous. Carrie notices and she's feeling a bit smug about it. But she's like, as his friend, I was... I
mean, I gotta say, the feeling of knowing you're making a man nervous is like, that is fuel for my fire.
True.
It's true. This is why I play video games.
To intimidate men?
Yeah. The greatest thing is when someone tells you that you're intimidating because it just makes me feel so powerful.
True.
That reminds me. The creepy message I got before we recorded was a guy asking me if he could be my errand boy.
Okay.
Yeah. What the fuck? It's very the fuck. Yeah, so they sort of start to order like soft drinks and then they immediately decide they need to have alcohol.
Fair.
Yeah, fair. It works out well because they finally get along.
Yeah, they get cozy because they
Well,
they talk for an hour pretty comfortably. It sounds like because like she's got a Cosmopolitan, he's got a Scotch, and they're good to go. Carrie's figured out the problem. She's solved for X, and
they have the man and woman drink.
Oh yeah, and that's how you know which one is which.
That's true.
So, yeah,
Cosmopolitans and Scotch.
The two genders.
And then eventually Carrie's like, okay, tell me about the girl. That's just, I don't know, Carrie's like a very boozy, like British lady when I do an impression of her. But she asks about Natasha and then Big starts to talk and she just realizes that she can't do it. And she's like, no, okay, we'll make a deal. We'll only talk about our partners when it's serious. Yeah, and then Big's like, well, it is serious, so...
Yeah. So they're engaged.
I forgot to mention the way that the waiter brought the drinks over was giving me, like, enough anxiety to feel extremely immersed in this scene. Because the Cosmo was, like, filled to the brim, and it was just sloshing back and forth, like, so dangerously about to spill everywhere.
And those stairs, and it's like a shiny, like, marble floor. This is the most dangerous place.
And he's wearing tap shoes.
Dangerous place to be a server. I just, couldn't imagine. Tip well. And then, Big says that he and Natasha are engaged.
Yep. That sure is that's a load of information.
Sure is, yeah.
Yeah. Carrie, I think rightfully gets kind of mad.
I think that her being mad is definitely warranted. I feel like if it was me, I would have maybe tried to be a little bit less making a scene about it. But the thing is,
I think after a few drinks, it's, yeah.
I say that, but at the same time, if this was real life, that I would just not give a single shit. So
the thing is, after watching Legally Blonde, I've always wanted to have a situation like this where I could do this. So I don't blame her.
This is Legally Blonde because he leaves her for a brunette.
It's exactly the same.
And isn't her name Natasha in Legally Blonde?
No, she's not. That's just another brunette.
What's the girl's name in Legally Blonde who's not Elle? Oh, is it Vivian? It's Vivian Kensington or something.
Oh, yeah, Vivian. That's her name.
I mean, I would have thrown the drink in his face and just stormed out. I could not believe... Well, she's like, you dated her for 5 months and you're engaged and you told me that you never wanted to get married again and we dated for 2 years.
Yes. And also this girl is like 20 years younger than him. Like, she's basically half his age.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem, yeah.
Yeah, by far is just the creepiest thing. She looks like his daughter, I'll be honest.
It's very creepy. And yeah, I would be so pissed if I get that relationships are different and things change, but it hasn't been that long. And he basically point blank was like, I'm not getting married again and I don't want to. And I would feel so personally offended if suddenly he'd been with someone else for 5 months and wanted to get married. Like, that's kind of a huge slap in the face. Like, yeah.
This did make me think of 500 Days of Summer, where basically the same thing happens.
I haven't seen it.
Essentially.
I was going to say what happens, but is it the same thing?
Oh, no. It's like revolutionary because the guy's with this girl and she's perfect, and then she like vehemently does not want like a serious relationship, and then they break up, and then she's like immediately engaged to someone else. Spoilers, I guess.
It's fine. Don't watch 500 Days of Summer because it's a bad film
movie. Even though the main character is named after me, it's still a bad movie. If you want some
summer, then just listen to my pod cabbages.
I agree.
Much better for your mental and physical health. True. And better for your well-being.
What if there was a podcast that's called 500 Days of Summer, where they watch 500 Days of Summer 500 times? And it's just like that other podcast, except for it's 500 Days of Summer.
That's not a bad pitch you got there.
I don't want to ever inflict that torture on someone. I'm not the fucking CIA.
True. That is the thing.
The thing is, you have to watch it 500 times until you finally understand who is in the wrong, because no man has ever watched it and understood that movie. So 500 is the number of times that's about right.
I say men are far too stubborn for even that, but
true.
We'll test it out. Our hypothesis. So, yeah, Carrie storms out and she manages to knock over the chair she was sitting on, trip down the stairs, and then knock over a tray.
Yeah. She's like, you should do something about those stairs.
And then she calls Natasha Nijinsky.
Again,
how hard is the name Natasha to remember exactly?
Her last name is like close to Nijinsky, but I don't remember what it is.
I think she's maybe she's meant to be like Russian, or like her dad is meant to be Russian.
Yeah.
But like, I think this is again like Natasha is a stupid name. Which if she was named something like, I don't know, something very Russian or whatever, I would understand. But she's...
Well, Natasha is kind of like, I feel like I've heard people who are like Slavic with kind of, with the name Natasha, but...
Yeah, I think it is a Russian name.
Yeah.
But then, like, so's Katerina, and you know.
If they wanted to just make her, I'm surprised they didn't want to make her as like stereotypy as possible if they were going to give her like a specific nationality. But
oh, that would be great if she was just like she was wearing like fur coats all the time and just.
And then she turns out to be like a sleeper agent, like.
Oh my God. I was literally about to say she's like actually working for the KGB.
I was going to say she's just that woman from Austin Powers with the mole.
Oh my God. Yeah.
This whole show is just the prequel to The Americans.
True. This is what happened. This is what Paige is doing like 30 years after. Oh, God.
Oh my God. If Kerry Russell showed up.
Oh, my heart. Yeah. She was too busy on Felicity. Yeah, so she storms out. Yeah.
And then we get to the stables with Charlotte, and Carrie is wearing kitten heels, and she's like complaining that her kitten heels, her $300 shoes, are sinking into the mud. And I'm so sorry that I'm just really angry this episode, but
well, she wore $300 shoes to a stable.
Why did she pick these shoes? This is on her for sure.
You're going to a place where there's definitely going to be animal shit and mud on the ground, so you know, wear old shoes that aren't heels.
She's smoking in the stable, and it's like there's big, huge signs on the wall that say no smoking too, and it's just like, girl, chill.
Oh, this horse, like they're standing next to Winnie's very gently, and Carrie's like, what the fuck is his problem? like she's fucking Eliza Thornberry, like stallion whisperer, and she just got catcalled by some New York City horse.
I mean, the thing is, I extremely relate to Carrie in half of this scene. The part where she's wearing shitty like shoes in the horse shit and like smoking, I don't relate to. But the part where she's like, what the fuck about these horses? I'm like, wow, I've never kinned someone harder.
Right.
Yeah, she just seems disgusted by the entire situation, and she's complaining about Big.
Right.
Charlotte's just there because she's really nervous, and she wanted Carrie to hold her hand.
Yeah.
Which, when has Carrie ever been helpful or empathetic?
Well, yeah, because this whole scene is supposed to be about Charlotte overcoming her fear, and then Carrie's making it about her. And then Charlotte starts like petting Carrie's hair, being like, there, horsey, it's okay. And it very is like, why are you petting her hair? Why are you doing this? And
they brought out a horse for Charlotte to look at or something, or I guess like get on or whatever. And Charlotte was like, oh, he's brown, which like most horses are brown. Not to be rude.
Not to be racist, but most horses are brown.
That's true, yeah.
She sort of goes to climb onto the horse, and she freaks out because she remembers Tatty. Why do I forget this horse's name? It's so silly.
It's because it's a fake fucking stupid name.
Because it doesn't matter.
Because no horse has ever been named like Kevin.
God.
And then, and she freaks out and runs away, and Carrie just kind of looks a bit perplexed.
Charlotte has never been so valid in her life as she was in this moment, just running away from the horses.
I mean, the fact that she wanted to touch a horse in the first place makes her incredibly not valid, though. So
just in that one moment. So I chose this episode to join y'all on because of this horse thing specifically.
Ooh.
Like, my mom is very much a horse person and has had multiple horses throughout her life, like, and my life, of course. And when I was like pretty young, she had this really naughty horse who loved nothing more than to kick the shit out of anybody who got near him. We had a couple of tree forts in the woods, like in the back of one of my childhood homes, and in order to get to them, we had to like jump an electric fence and then either sneak or like sprint past him. And he would, because he would literally chase you if he saw you anywhere nearby. It was so terrifying.
That's so scary. Oh my God.
Send that horse away.
So I have to assume this is why I just fucking hated horses growing up.
I mean, as soon as you said Winnie's, I thought, oh, this girl has this horse secret.
boy, do I have horse secrets.
Yeah, I can't. That sounds so scary. I can't even.
Yeah, and then a couple of years ago, my mom like made me come out to the stable to see her new horse, and very much forced me to get up in the saddle, and the horse like bucked a little, and I literally burst into tears. My mom has a video of the whole ordeal, and it's very.
Donate to our Patreon to unlock this video.
The idea of a horse chasing me to kick the shit out of me is gonna haunt me. Like, I'm not even the number one horse hater, but
it's bad, yeah.
There's 2 valid horses, and those valid horses are Shadowfax from Lord of the Rings and Hollyhock from BoJack. So that's it. The only 2 valid horses.
Sure.
And maybe the horse from Shadow of the Colossus, and that's about it.
Oh yeah, I did like my horse in Red Dead Redemption.
I'm sure it was very sweet.
She was a lovely girl. Yeah, I hate dolphins. So like together, Stephanie and I would like just fight every girl in 4th grade.
Basically, any animals that have like remote intelligence, you're our enemies. Because I also hate crows, so.
Including humans.
Oh, humans are number 1 enemies. Enemies of the show, humanity. So yeah, and then Mr. Cocky is there.
Yeah.
And this is like a scene. This is so infamous. He sort of says, they're in Samantha's room. She's on the bed. And he says, "Oh, I should warn you. I'm very well endowed."
Samantha says, "Ding, ding, ding, jackpot."
She's so much. I love her. There was a Sex and the City challenge on Drag Race, and like this week or the week before when you're actually listening to this, and like there was a whole conversation about how Kim Cattrall says her lines.
Yeah.
And every single one is just purring them very slowly, like ding ding.
I love her smile too.
Yes.
She has the cutest little smile.
She is horny but making it fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
She is so incredibly valid in this scene because she just wants to take it on, because he's like, "Oh, well, most women can't handle it." And she's like, "Well, I'm not most women." But like she's incredibly valid, but at the same time, I don't know if Samantha's ever been more unrelatable to me.
Yeah, true. I mean, in my brain wants something and my heart wants something else.
See, the thing is, I'm just very intimidated by the idea of a gigantic, like the way he describes, or the way she describes it in like a later scene is she's just like, it was like a wall of flesh coming at me, and like just, you know when you walk into a sex shop and you see those dildos that are like 3 inches in diameter and then they're like 12 inches long, and I see that and my brain starts crying because I'm so afraid, and I'm just like, someone wants this, like someone sees this and they're like, that is what I want, and I'm so afraid, and I don't know, it's too much.
Allegedly.
I'm always like, oh yeah, a big dick, and then I remember that that's just not gonna, if anything, that's just gonna hurt me more.
Absolutely.
If you want to keep your cervix, then no, don't.
I would like to keep it.
I remember like one of my best friends growing up was like jealous because in her relationship she was like, quote unquote, not experiencing pain, and she thought she was missing out. And I was like, that's not usually where the pleasure comes from, but
okay.
You do you.
If you want a bit of pain, just like, I don't know, a light spanking. Like, you don't need to rip your vagina in half.
Yeah, no, you don't need to be injuring the most like fragile,
the most delicate part of your body. Yeah, just leave that. Leave it alone. And then he actually gets his dick out, and her face kind of just sinks.
I just am so curious how big this thing actually would have to be for her to make that. Like, how big would it have to be for her brain to go from hell fucking yes to holy shit no? Like,
yeah.
Just freeze frame. I guess you're wondering how I got into this situation.
It must be... I don't know. I did think about it, obviously. Probably a bit too hard, no pun intended. Yeah, we move on quite quickly to Samantha in her little leopard print dress.
Oh, it's so cute.
Talking to... Oh, it's leopard print is so in. I love leopard print. It's a neutral.
That's good.
Yeah, she's talking to Carrie and saying, telling her about the dick.
Yeah, a wall of flesh coming at her. Don't like that.
Yeah,
Samantha said something about him having tiny hands, and try as I might, I could not think of a good Trump joke. It's been said.
Well, they do say there was a reason that, I understand why Mr. Cocky was so cocky now. I don't like this theory.
Because he's got a big... Yeah. Apparently, Carrie, off the small hands thing, Carrie's like, oh, you don't actually believe that, do you? But, like, it's half true.
I feel like I don't really know. Like, I haven't really ever compared enough to really...
Yeah, I never took a ruler to a date.
And been like, oh yeah, it checks out. Like, you mean like the thumb to forefinger thing or whatever? Like, yeah.
Oh, the half of the foot rule, allegedly.
And yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like I've mentioned this before, but it's just like, it's not something that I'm gonna stare at. So like, I'm not gonna have like a really great idea anyway. And then like,
Stephanie, I'm sorry, but the fact that you say, like, I haven't seen most of them, I'm just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen them. I just didn't take a good look at all of them.
Okay. Sure.
I love getting details about your, like, sexual preferences because they're so funny. I
don't know. They're all
true.
The same they're not... They're all
the same in the dark.
They're all mostly the same unless you have like a stallion like this.
They all have the same general purpose.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I've never been like, wow, that was particularly different from something I've experienced before. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then apparently like it seems like they just got the tip in.
Yeah.
And she seems about done, about max capacity.
She likens it to climbing Mount Everest and saying she basically got to base camp.
Yeah, I don't understand all these metaphors, but whatever. Carrie calls her out.
Yeah, I was literally like trying to like, where is the base camp? Like, how far is that in relation to the rest of the mountain? I cannot visualize this.
No, Carrie calls her out because obviously last season finale, she broke up with a guy because his dick was too big. Actually, no, she was upset because a guy's dick was too small. And then she later broke up with him. And then now she's complaining about a dick that's too big. And says, what are you, Goldie Cox?
That's a good line.
It was a good line.
I mean, there's a reason why the average size is like roughly 6 inches or a little less. It's because like that's the size that fits.
Natural selection. Yeah.
I mean, length doesn't really... What does length do?
It's more, girth makes the worth. I just made that up. I don't know. I don't believe that, but I don't know.
No.
Although, I do say that I don't remember what a lot of penises look like, but I do remember one time being like, that seems skinnier than normal, but...
I mean, that is something that you can tell even when you don't take a look. So that's valid.
I thought you were going to say, but I remember how they felt.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I was going to reach to the screen and strangle you. No. So, speaking of stuff that makes me want to strangle someone, Stephen Miranda.
Uh-huh. Oh, this is so...
Oh, my God.
Let's breeze through this. So he's in her apartment and he's demanding a shirt back, an FDNY one, and then she gives it to him and he's like, oh, she kissed him goodnight, and he's like, oh, that's what friends do. Do friends kiss here? And he like kisses her neck, and then he says, do friends kiss here? And he like kisses her neck again, like under her jaw. And then they have sex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it gets so intensely creepy because so even before they start kissing, they're standing so close together, it's uncomfortable. And then when he talks about kissing, he's like whispering, and it's so creepy with his voice because he's just like, do friends kiss here? And then he just leans in, and it's so bad. I hate it so much.
I like the fact they're in her bedroom and she's just like frozen is really, really creepy.
I don't like it, but they bone.
I hate it so much.
I do like the color. The color of her sheets is very pleasant to look at. So that's where my eyes were.
Oh, I should have seen if they were the sheets from last week, if we were paying attention.
They were very cute in pink.
I think they were then. Wow, continuity.
So back to Samantha, thank God. She's been doing yoga, and she also is smoking a joint instead of just buying lube.
You'd think lube would be the first place to go. I mean, maybe she's already tried lube, and I don't know.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if it's a length issue, lube is not going to do anything about length.
Just don't put your whole dick in.
Well, yeah, don't put the whole thing in. It definitely will help with the girth.
Yeah. And yoga isn't going to change your vagina, or neither is weed.
No, maybe weed just dulls the pain. I don't know.
God. And this is so sad. Like, I actually got kind of upset for a second because, like, he's kissing her and he's like, "Oh, you ready?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then she realized he's like, "I'm gonna put it in," and she's like, "What?"
I know.
She thought it was, but it wasn't, which I don't understand how that works.
I'm guessing that maybe like it was like just the tip that was in, and so she was like, "Oh my god, like it's in," but then it was like he was actually gonna put the shaft part in, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like the opposite of the classic situation that's just like, "Oh, when are you gonna put it in?" And it's like, it is in.
So she like pushes him off with her foot, and she's like, "No, can we just be friends?"
Yeah.
And his face, like, he got so excited that like he was fine. I imagine. So I made up a story about him in my head, and like he has never had like full on sex because his dick is just too big. So he was like so excited to actually lose his virginity finally.
Aww.
Oh no.
At like the age of like 35.
This is this is tragic.
Well, I'm guessing that he's probably at least had it like oral sex before, which is still like but it sounds like even that's a challenge based on the size.
I was gonna say that sounds like it would still be very difficult.
It's like that picture of like it's like the hamster on the like the hamster. You know what I'm talking about?
No. Don't, please.
Yeah.
No, don't bring him into this.
Well, because Samantha even says I was gonna go down on him, but I didn't want to get lockjaw. And listen, the rule is if it won't go in your mouth, it's not gonna go anywhere else. Oh, poor thing. I felt really bad for him.
I think your vagina can fit more than your mouth, though.
Well, it can fit a baby.
You can't fit a baby in your mouth.
But what I mean is, if it's not going to fit comfortably in your mouth, it's not going to really fit comfortably in your vagine.
That's true.
Because your mouth is also self-lubricating.
Yeah. True.
It's a good tester. And he just kind of collapses onto her.
Yeah.
At the end.
It's a little bit sad.
And this is where he has like his little horse whinny. Yeah, it's kind of gross because then it segues into the next scene.
Oh, yeah. So Charlotte is walking Pow, who is the horse that she met and got spooked with when she was with Carrie. And they're like walking in Central Park. And this was so fucking pointless. She is like stroking him and gives him a little treat and then just decides that actually no, she can ride him and then goes on like a full gallop.
Yeah, she's going on hard like right away. It's like, no, maybe like ease into it a little bit before you like full on gallop.
Going fucking hard in like probably the most populated park in the world. And this fucking is so dangerous and she hasn't ridden in such a long time. Like this.
And there's like joggers just on the same path as her.
I'm pretty sure on these kinds of roads, you're not supposed to go faster than like a trot with a horse. I'd be horrified if I was a jogger. I mean, I'd be horrified if I was a jogger anyway, even if there were no horses. But like,
I've been to like even in like Hyde Park, which is just the London version of Central Park. Like there'll be horses there, but they're just going slow, which I don't really understand the point of. If you're on a horse, you want to just fucking speed it, don't you?
that seems to be the point.
I think we should keep horses out of public areas.
I agree, because I come from a tourist city and there's like horse carriages everywhere there, and it's so fucking annoying whether you're a pedestrian, whether you're driving. They just are on the street downtown and you're trying to get places and they take up the entire fucking thing, and you're like, well, obviously I don't want to hit this carriage, but also I really want to hit this carriage because like I can't get anywhere. They're so slow.
Yeah, they fucking suck. I used to live like more in the country, in a place where there was like quite a lot of like Irish travelers, and a lot of them were on horses on like tiny little, just like little seats. Like not a carriage, like a seat on the back of a horse. And they would be like teenage boys and they would just go fucking fast down the goddamn street. And it was really scary and I didn't like it. I didn't like seeing like little boys on a fucking buggy on the back. It just seemed so dangerous. And also it must have stunk as shit. So
Ugh. I hate that. I don't like this at all.
no, it was. I'm glad I moved. I haven't seen a horse in a very long time.
Yeah.
Moving on, Big calls Carrie, and he's wearing. Did anyone else think he looked like a rapper or a drug dealer?
No, but I see it now.
Yeah, he's wearing like black, like pool slides, and like a yellow, like a lemon polo shirt, and he's because of the way the camera's shot, he just looked like a sensitive rapper or like a drug dealer's accountant. It was very Scarface. But he calls Carrie and he's like apologizing to her, I guess.
Yeah, because, well, he has all these long pauses in his speech and she doesn't really pick up right away because he gets her voicemail and he's just like, I just didn't want it to happen like that. And like Carrie's listening the entire time and she does eventually pick up and they both apologize to each other because apparently they're both wrong. And I mean, they are both awful. So I guess they're kind of right. That is the show.
They're just Carrie and Big always wrong.
Yeah, they kind of make up, and then Carrie gets an invitation to their engagement brunch.
Yeah, I kind of thought this was funny because like when she opens it, she just puts it on her bed and then slinks back into her bed and kicks it off with her foot. It's really good.
She doesn't even want to touch it with her hands.
No, why would you? So then we cut to the girls having cocktails and Carrie's talking about herself as always.
Yes.
And she's like, how could they, like, okay, we made up, but also how could he invite me to their engagement party?
Mm-hmm. It does seem really weird and it just seems inappropriate. Like, if you're going to try to be friends, like just, I don't know. It just seems rude to me. Like, obviously, it's only going to make her upset. Obviously, she's not going to want to come.
Yeah, after the whole ordeal that they just went through, it seems kind of insensitive to just then immediately send her this engagement party invitation.
Absolutely.
Well, Big's never been sensitive in his life.
No.
So.
No, he's a robot.
So jot that down.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh my God. Okay, so Miranda... Is it Miranda who brings it up, or is it Carrie?
I think it's Miranda, the Hubble thing.
Oh, it was either Charlotte or Miranda. You might be right. It might have been Miranda.
Yeah, they say, do you know who this is? It's Hubble. And they do so basically they're referencing The Way We Were, which is a great film.
Oh, it's a real movie?
Oh my God.
Okay. Which I was going to ask. I was like, have you guys seen this film? Because I've seen it quite a few times.
I haven't actually seen it.
I thought they made it up for the show.
Okay. Yeah. So they do a really bad job of explaining it. So I thought I would actually explain what happens in it.
Okay.
Please, yeah.
So, right. So Miranda says Robert Redford is playing a guy called Hubble Gardner, which sounds like a fake name, so I don't blame you for thinking.
Hubble wasn't his last name?
No, Hubble was his first name.
Oh.
And it's a really weird film. And Barbara Streisand plays a character called Katie, and so the way Miranda says it is like, oh, he only breaks up with her because she's complicated and has curly hair, which is not it.
She's not like other girls.
Likening it to Carrie, okay, what happens is actually it's set during like the Hollywood blacklist, and they get like marked as communists. He wants to name names, she doesn't, and is still like pretty left in terms of politics, and they break up because of a disagreement over politics and his career. Basically, his career is over if he doesn't name names, and she refuses to. So the film is, the reason they break up is because she is a staunch communist.
Wow.
This sounds way better than they were trying to sell it.
Yeah.
I mean, that does make you more complicated, but at the same time, it's extremely not like... they did such a bad job explaining it.
They made it seem like she was just like manic and like to party or something.
No, I mean, all right. This is a film like I watched as a teenager and then like told everyone, oh, this film is so great. And then rewatched as an adult and was like, oh, there's one scene which is just so incredibly like problematic and creepy and is basically a rape scene. And I'm like, fuck, because I've recommended this film to everyone. So I'm gonna put a big asterisk next to recommending this film. But the whole thing is she's poor and she's Jewish and she's very, very leftist. And then he's like basically a liberal and he's from a rich, like waspy society, and they fall in love. And then it can't work out because she like their differences have just become too much.
I mean, I could date a liberal, so I get it.
True.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it with a big, huge, warning. And then, so basically, like when they're comparing Carrie to her, it's just so ridiculous because the opening scene, she's talking about the fucking like Spanish Civil War, and Carrie doesn't know what the fuck that is.
True.
It sounds like they completely missed the whole point of this movie that they all very much love, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, but the thing is, she has curly hair.
She have curly hair.
She has curly hair, though, so...
I watched this film as a teenager and thought I was Barbara Streisand because I have curly hair.
True.
Of course.
Very political. And I, too, have a weakness for, like, pretty blonde boys with straight jaws. And yeah, so it's just so ridiculous. But I basically, at the end of the film, this is what they're talking about. Barbara Streisand's character, Katie, sees Hubble, and she walks over to him and she moves his hair out of the way and says, "Your girl is lovely, Hubble." Because he's with a simple girl who's uncomplicated and presumably, like, not a communist.
Presumably.
That's it. And then they sing the song and Samantha cries.
Yeah, Samantha's like, what the fuck is going on? Because she's the only one who hasn't seen it.
Oh, yeah. God. So sorry for being stupid, but please refresh my memory. Who the fuck is James?
James is Tiny Penis Man.
Oh, now it all makes sense.
She's going from one extreme to the other.
Right. I was going to say, because they don't even bring it up after she just starts crying and she just says, "I miss James." And then it's just abandoned.
Terry does a flat what? And then they cut. I will say before we move on to the final scene, Swift recommend everyone should go watch Beyonce sing The Way We Were in front of Barbara Streisand because it's one of the greatest videos of all time.
Whoa.
I'm going to go watch that after this.
That sounds very good.
I feel like we got to close the episode out with this song now.
Oh, damn. Don't make me do more work. I probably will, though. So Carrie then goes, she's like, I was drawn to the location of the plaza where they're having this fucking party. And she sees Big, and he's putting a tattoo in his car. And he's like, oh, you're late.
Yeah, this whole scene is just extremely, like, it's just extremely scripted after they had that entire scene about the movie. Like, this is the most composed I've ever seen Carrie before, even though you know inside she's a mess.
She literally said she had, like, a specific question she went there to ask. So, yeah, it's all definitely very scripted.
If this was written better, they could have just, like, not had the whole fucking scene explaining the film.
True.
And just made it a reference, because I tried to watch this film in preparation, and then the version I downloaded wasn't working, and I just threw a tantrum and couldn't do it. But I think they're like in a very similar, or if not the location at the end of the film.
Oh, so was the movie was set in New York City? I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah, set in New York, and then they moved to LA, and then they moved back to New York. Whatever.
I see.
So they can do the Hollywood thing. So it looks very similar. It's shot very similarly to the scene from the film. So she could have just made it a reference, or just seen him and just said her own thing. And, you know, if you've seen The Way We Were, which you probably have if you watch Sex and the City, especially in 1999, then you would have got it. And if you didn't, then it would have still made sense. But this is just weird and forced.
It would have sounded very funny for her to call him Hubble as if she just forgot his name or something.
You're like, oh my God, is his name Hubble?
That could have been the problem. Like, oh no, people are going to think that that's his name.
Like, the funniest part is he is so confused. He's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, because she does like the exact thing from the movie by pushing his hair out of his face and being like, your girl is lovely, Hubble.
Does she ever call him Big to his face?
Okay, there was one episode where she was on the phone with Miranda and she says, I'm at Big's in front of him. So he's heard it.
Yeah.
But I don't think she calls it, I don't think she says, hey, Big, what's up? Like, I don't think she calls him Big, but...
But she could just said, your girl is lovely, and then everyone would have... I don't know. This is just like... Maybe someone didn't want to edit the script, because I don't know why it's so long.
They probably already filmed it all, and then afterward they're like, oh shit, if people haven't watched this movie, they're going to be very confused. And then like a year later, they had to call everyone back and like refilm this scene.
They all just have like different haircuts or wearing like really obvious wigs, and one of them's pregnant.
Pretty much. And Big doesn't get it, and so he says he doesn't get it, and she's like, you never did, and then just walks away.
It's so dramatic.
Mm-hmm. To her, she thinks this is like amazing and she's so powerful. To him, he thinks she is insane.
Absolutely.
Imagine someone just calls you by something that is not your name, and then like when you ask what they're talking about, they say, you never did understand me, and walk away. You just think they were crazy.
I also like how like he walked out of this building and he just sees Carrie across the street like a fucking cryptid in her weird like siren teddy.
Yeah, she's what is that like South American spirit? This like the wailing woman, where if you're just like a woman in white screaming, and if you see her, then she's a harbinger of death or whatever.
This sounds like Carrie.
And okay, this was again terrible. She's staring at a horse and she's like, I could never tame Big. I was the one who was untamed, and one day I would find someone who was wild enough as me. And like Sarah Jessica Parker staring at a horse is just really upsetting for me.
Anything with a horse is upsetting.
I've heard all the jokes.
Too much negative power.
Well, do you think those jokes were a thing at the time of the show airing? Like, I feel like it became a thing because South Park, like, were they the original people who made the joke?
I don't know. Have they ever been original in their life?
No, that's true.
You cut out for a second and it sounded like you said, were jokes a thing when this show was airing?
That is an equally good question.
They were, because the show existed, so...
Yeah. So that's it, everybody.
Yep, that was the season 2 finale.
Rankings?
All right, how about we let our guest go first?
Yes.
Okay. I did think about this beforehand because I wanted to be prepared. So I am actually going to put I wish I could put Charlotte at the top because she almost said no to the horse, but that fell through. So for me, I would put Samantha at the top because she went through a lot and she knew when enough was enough. She did great. And then I know this might be controversial, but I want to actually put Carrie second because despite acting like a literal screaming, shitting baby for the whole episode, she was kind of being very true and honest to her feelings and like kind of seemed to practice a lot of sort of aggressive self-love and understanding, which seems to be kind of rare for her. And then I wanted to put Charlotte third because she was afraid of horses and then wasn't. And then Miranda dead last in fifth place behind the woman who was giving Carrie a death stare at the friend date with Big, just because she apparently was like cool with this extremely bad thing that was going on with Steve. I don't know why she was putting up with all this.
I think that's a pretty good list because, I mean, I don't think anyone really jumped out as particularly valid.
Samantha did a pretty good job with her situation, I think. But other than that,
my list is almost the same as yours. Like, Samantha's my number one because I thought that hers was like, I don't know, it was like kind of funny, but it was kind of useless. I don't know. It was whatever. It wasn't like particularly valid, but it wasn't bad. And then I actually agree with you. Like, Carrie was my number two. You're right about her being like an absolute shitting baby, but like, yeah, I don't know. I guess anytime seeing her kind of leave Big is always kind of nice, and I definitely agree with her getting mad at the restaurant. Like, I would have done the exact same thing, so it's valid. But this is where my picks differ from yours. I thought Charlotte's plot was just such an entire colossal waste of time and I just hate to see horses so much that she is dead last for me because the show should never make me see a horse. It's a federal fucking crime that they made me see that many horses. So like, as bad as Steve is, Charlotte's still gonna be my number 4 this week.
God, I'm so glad that you hate horses like me.
Yeah, this is not a horse-friendly podcast. No. I would say, okay, Miranda is dead last because, I mean, this is how you get murdered.
Exactly, yeah.
If you ever wanted to know, this is it. Then I would say, I don't know. Yeah, then Charlotte's a waste of time. Do you know what? I'm putting Samantha first and then, yeah. So I agree with you guys, more or less. We're on the same page. I love it. We usually are. Yeah. It's pretty rare that we're like entirely different lists. So that's, yeah, let's move on to questions. If you want to, we might have to kind of do a bit of a speed round. So, but anyway, if you guys want to send us some questions, then you can send them to citigirlsmatedo.tumblr.com/ask. Or you can send to our Gmail, which is citigirlsmatedo at gmail.com. We're at citigirlsmatedo everywhere, so figure it out. Our first question. Google it. Google it. We're Googleable, I'm sure. Our first question is from Tumblr user PR the Disaster, who asks, hey, have you seen yourself in a situation very like one of a movie or a series you like? This is the first part because they always ask so many questions and I love them for it. But let's answer that one first. This is too broad for...
I was going to say, there's so many.
Yeah, I mean, I did think about this. Like, obviously, I think I am Katie from The Way We Were to some degree. I think I did have a bit of like a Bridget Jones situation once. Not with the two guys, just... I was sort of seeing someone who was very much like Hugh Grant was in that movie. And I mean, I'm kind of a Bridget Jones-esque character, sadly. I just remembered one that's going to sound super stupid. But when I was like in my first year of grad school, I was massively depressed and I was like just worst mental health of my life. And I was like extremely close to dropping out of school. I was like, this was like the first 4 months
months. So I started grad school in September, and it was coming up on like December when I was trying to decide if I wanted to come back in January or not. And like I did, I ended up coming back. But like, so that was like the time when like they started playing Christmas movies on TV and stuff. And so they played Rudolph, and so I was watching it. And
oh my God.
So, you know, there's Hermie the elf, and he's like, I am going to kill myself if I have to make toys. Like, I want to be a dentist. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be here. And I was actually thinking about applying for dental hygiene school at the time.
What?
And so I was like, oh my God, is this me? And it's weird. I did end up going back to school, so I did end up making toys, I guess. But I was like, wow, I kin this elf from this stop motion movie. Or
that's not stupid.
It's
cute.
I've never seen Rudolph, but does that elf say they're gonna kill themselves?
No, he just says, I don't want to make toys, I want to be a dentist.
Okay, that's good. That's a bit much for a children's film.
Yeah.
Gee. But I'm glad you're not a dentist.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, same. Dentists are terrible people. I've never met a dentist I liked.
We're going to start some discourse like we did last week, so be careful.
Do you know what? Last week, anti-doctors. This week, anti-dentists, who are also doctors, everybody.
They all make too much money, yeah. For me, I just off the top of my head, thinking about it very quickly, the first thing that came to mind was the Ghibli movie Nausicaa, about there's like a redheaded girl who loves animals, and she is like fighting against humanity to save nature, basically. And it's just it's a very beautiful movie, and I really, really love it. My other one would just be Me, M-I. I'm not sure how it's spelled, but the little girl from the Moomin Valley show. If you combine those two characters, I think that would make the perfect version.
True, I could see you with a Moomin.
And I could see you as Nausicaa. Yeah.
Okay, the next part of PR the Disasters question. Okay, I feel like we've answered this. What's your take on horses? Friend, foe, mark of the bourgeoisie? I feel like this is solidly anti-horse. I'm pro-donkey, though.
Oh, me too.
I have never met a donkey, but I'm sure, don't they have like the goat eyes?
I don't think so. I think they're fairly close to horses, but
Okay, I think I met an alien donkey.
Okay. One of my best friends growing up, her family owns a preschool, and they had a donkey I was going to say on campus. They had a donkey at the preschool property. And so they lived for a long time. So she had it like my entire, until I was finished high school. And so I just got to see a donkey like pretty regularly. But I like donkeys.
Aww.
Donkeys are friends. Unicorns are friends. I think unicorns are good. One thing I think we didn't touch on is the end of this question is mark of the bourgeoisie. And, my thought this episode was like, well, it's kind of nice that they're giving Charlotte something to do that's not a boyfriend-related plot. But, if they're going to give her a hobby, did they have to give her the bougiest hobby possible?
Yes. They're so expensive. Mm-hmm. This is the thing about donkeys. Okay, they don't think they're as attractive as horses do. Horses think they're super hot and sexy, and you can tell. They're not as expensive. They're just, old men who are not racist. So
they're just theater kids, just kind of non-threatening but powerful.
And I would say horses are the theater kids because horses think they're fucking great.
That is true.
Donkeys are the mathletes, I suppose. Last part. And because of the jokes about Everest, have you ever gone hiking? Do you want to?
I like that presupposes that we haven't gone hiking.
I haven't. Why would I fucking want to walk anywhere?
Well, the thing is, okay, but Summer, also one thing you have to think about is, so you live in the Pacific Northwest. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. Most places in North America don't have fucking mountains.
Interesting. That's a good point.
Ontario is I always thought, so you go east of British Columbia, which I'm from BC. You go east of there, and it's fucking flat for ages. And I was like, okay, by the time you get to Ontario, there's mountains again, right? And there's fucking not. Ontario is still flat. It's not prairies anymore, but it's still fucking flat. So not only do I miss the ocean every day, but I miss the mountains every day. So when I'm home, I'm like, oh shit, I can see mountains everywhere and it rules. And so like as a kid I didn't do hiking a lot, but I went on, like my family would sometimes be like, let's go for a hike up this like little mountain today. And like every once in a while when I'm back home, I like to kind of go up a trail because you can see these like really beautiful, beautiful views of the ocean when you go up them. And that's the other thing. Lots of places that have beautiful mountains don't have like ocean views or anything. It's like, not that they're still not nice, but I don't know.
I used to live in Oklahoma for a while, which is definitely like flat enough that you can see the Pacific Northwest from your home because there's just nothing. But yeah, now living here, it is like, if you leave the house, you're basically hiking from there to wherever you're going.
Yeah, I guess, where would I go hiking? Croydon?
I don't know.
those famous British mountain ranges.
We have like one mountain and it's in like Wales or some shit.
Yeah.
I'm not really an outdoors person and I never have been. I don't like it. Every time I'm like, oh, I want to go to the forest, I go there and I'm like, I'm cold, my feet hurt. I could be warm and inside and sitting down.
That's fair.
I'm just not an outdoors person, so I don't want to go hiking.
There's the most romantic place I would say in Spokane. Oh shit, I just doxed myself. It's fine. But if you go there, it's basically a small hike, and then you're like essentially in the middle of this enormous river, and you're just kind of sitting on a big rock, and it's like a huge like rapid kind of river, and it's kind of cool. But it's not much of a hike, but it is nice.
I probably would if I was ever in the on the West Coast. I probably would, but I would have to be with someone who knows the area because if I'm outside, I'm gonna get lost. I'm gonna get tired.
Yeah,
like I as a child, I was like fat and asthmatic. I didn't go outside.
That's valid.
I really cannot stress this enough.
Yeah, we do not need to go outside anymore.
All my friends are here on my computer.
Exactly.
So thank you, PR the Disaster. Next question is from Anonymous. If the four of them were stranded on a deserted island, which one would survive the longest? Which of them would eat the other ones / get eaten first? Why are you asking two people who don't eat meat this question?
That's true. They're also making the mistake of thinking that would have a Lord of the Flies type situation. That is an extremely
Yeah.
Exactly. They would figure a way out of the island before they ever had to eat anyone.
They'd be like, oh, there's some coconuts over there and like we can just fish with some spears. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, teenage boys are just looking for any excuse to do cannibalism, really.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
I think if one of them had to get eaten, like, it probably would be Charlotte.
Oh, 100%.
No, Charlotte would go crazy. Charlotte would be the first one to go mad and she would kill, like, whoever upset her.
Samantha would definitely survive a long time. She would make it, like...
Yeah, Miranda's pretty practical, too. I feel like she could just build a fire or something.
Carrie would die first.
Carrie's the first one to die. Yeah.
Carrie would just kind of wander off like on some artistic escapade and just kind of die of like dehydration because she forgot about water.
Carrie would drink salt water because she's like, what? It's just water.
It's just water.
It's just water. It's just with salty. I eat salt in my food. Why can't I have salt in my water? And then she would die.
They'd be better off.
Do you want to talk about Lost, Stephanie? I know you want to.
I always want to talk about Lost. I don't really know how this could apply to a Lost situation, though. Like, if they crashed on the island, I mean, I feel like Miranda would be chosen by Jacob to, basically be God. And then, I don't know. I don't really feel like I have that much to say about it now that I actually think about it. But I do always want to talk about Lost.
We got that in.
Our next question is from Leaf Crunch. Alex Leaf Crunch, let's be real, our dear friend, who asks, how would each of the girls destroy the cabbage merchant's cart?
So what do you think, Summer?
Oh my God. Oh God. That's a really good question. So Samantha, this is a tough one. Samantha would just be having she would be part of some incredible orgy in a Fire Nation festival in the middle of the street. And the cabbage merchant would just be just an innocent bystander, sort of swept up into it. My cabbages, the whole ordeal. Charlotte would be just riding a fucking horse full speed down the road, of course. Let's see. Carrie will have seen Big across the city and will have gone running to greet him and swept the cabbage cart along with her. And Miranda, oh boy, I feel like she'd be friends with the cabbage guy. She'd be like there helping him clean up, I feel like.
She would be very apologetic, at least. The other guys would just go, sorry, and then carry on.
For some reason, this just gave me a flash forward to a future episode we're going to get to, and it doesn't even really have anything to... It's very, like, tangentially related, but it just reminded me of the fact that there's the episode with the hot dog.
Oh, do you mean... the Subway sandwich?
Is he a sandwich? I don't know, but it just made me think of that, and now I'm really excited.
I can't wait to see this cabbage merchant cameo in Sex and the City.
It's something. But I think the only thing that I even thought of when I read this question was that Carrie would throw a cigarette into the cabbage cart, and then it would just burst into flames.
This is flammable, very famously flammable cabbage.
Well, I mean, the cart is flammable, so if the cart bursts into flame, I know cabbage is like probably 90% water.
That is true. Like, my cabbage cart.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, actually, this would be good because cabbage is really nice roasted.
That's true, yeah. And then Carrie will have invented...
Everyone smell it and then they'd eat it. And then now the cabbage guy has a new business.
I love it.
Thank you, Alec. Next question is from... Fuck. Why do people have names I can't read?
It's from friend of the show, Jess.
Oh, Jess.
Yeah.
I want to say it's Tani Kapak.
I don't know, actually. I've never known how to say your Tumblr name, Jess. I'm sorry.
Okay, so if this becomes another Chisa Tonkas, then I'm quitting the show. But this is from friend of the show, Jess, a.k.a. Tani Kapak on Tumblr. I don't know. Don't make me read things. Who asks, it's Valentine's. What's the best or worst Valentine's Day you've ever had?
That's a tough question.
I will answer this one and say that I'd never really done anything for Valentine's Day. So being with you guys is my best one.
Oh, that's very sweet.
That's so sweet. I'm going to cry. I feel like most Valentine's Days have been just kind of mediocre for the most part. So this one will probably be the best one.
I don't have like any that, like, I'm trying to think back on past years, and like I don't really remember what I did on a single one of them. Like I have not been... Like, I've been not single for most of them, but at the same time, it's been super low key for any of them. So I don't...
Oh, I have an idea, or I have a good story, kind of. Oh. I did spend a very long time making cupcakes for one of my exes for Valentine's Day.
Oh, I'm going to do that tonight. I'm going to make cupcakes tonight after we record.
Oh, that's so good. It's a very good Valentine's snack. I spent all day making them, and I put them in the fridge to have for the Valentine's Day. And the next day, I came down to take them out of the fridge, and my stepfather had eaten all of them.
Oh my God.
And he doesn't even eat sugar, so like I have to assume it was an act of aggression.
What is it with father figures and just eating food which is clearly not for them? Just eating food.
As a power play.
Eating food to own the children.
Wow. I honestly just like people eating other people's food is seriously like one of the most, it pisses me off so much, and it doesn't even happen to me like ever, and it still pisses me off.
Like I had made these extremely, like they were beautiful, like I had frosted them and then like customized each of them with like little sprinkles and everything, so there's no way he wasn't aware that they were like
that's so evil.
It's ridiculous.
Like, my dad, after I told my dad, oh, he ate my peanut butter ice cream, I'm mad about it. Today, he was eating my peanut butter ice cream again.
Oh,
no.
Oh
Why?
my God. He's just, I mean, luckily I had some and I didn't even like it that much. It wasn't very good.
Okay.
But I was just like, hey, remember how you have diabetes? You can't eat sugar and you're eating sugar. Well done, idiot. I'm probably a great line of geniuses. But yeah, your stepfather sounds like horrible. I'm very mad at that.
He is, yeah.
But thank you, Jess. Do you have anything, Steph, before we move on?
not really. I honestly don't remember like any Valentine's Day aside from the current one.
I can't remember shit about fuck. So I'm not the right person to ask.
Yeah, I've never had a particularly bad one either. Like, it's just been whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, same. Last question from Tumblr user Mike Dawson, friend of the show, who asks, in light of Doctor Your Waiter, which girl would make good VFD material and who would be a fan of Esme's squalor?
I love this question, and I feel like those aren't mutually exclusive, because I mean, I don't know. Okay, Samantha I feel like would be a fan of Esme, for sure.
Same with Carrie, purely for the fashion.
Yeah, for the fashion. And Carrie, I imagine, would hate children with like the same just amount of dramaticism as Esme does, unless she had like a very, I guess, I'm cute in quotations one to like dress up and be proud of. I feel like
Charlotte would accidentally be part of Esme's like friend group, not realizing.
Yeah, and I feel like Charlotte would try to maybe be noble and be part of VFD, but she would get killed like immediately. Like she'd be one of the people who just is on their first mission and gets killed.
I mean, most of VFD do get killed.
That's very true.
I would say the only valid one would be Miranda, because I think she's actually smart.
Yes. Miranda would make a good VFD member.
Yeah.
Maybe Samantha, because Samantha seems like, I mean, sex is a very niche skill.
But it's useful when nobody else seems to be using it.
Exactly. And that's what everything that happens in A Series of Unfortunate Events is because someone has like a very niche expertise, which comes in super handy, and then they die.
Absolutely. The thing is, Esme actually is very cool, and I just wish she weren't so evil.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she would be a really cool aunt.
I love her outfits.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like every day I'm telling Noah, like, hey, that's not very in what you're wearing. And then I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, that's really good.
Do you know, I feel the same, because like even when I'm talking about leopard print, I'm like, oh, leopard print is in.
It's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a dedicated follower of fashion. I could see if I was like a spy or, you know, some sort of thing, I would definitely be obsessed with, like, I've been playing Hitman, and my favorite thing is to dress up in the different disguises.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike Dawson.
Yep.
I think that's all our questions for this week.
it.
And I think that's all we have.
Yep.
So would you like to plug it up for us, Summer?
You could call these our butt plugs because they come at the end of the episode and there are plugs at the
Oh, no. Please. It is appropriate and inappropriate at the same time.
I was thinking of Carrie, where they're like, plug it up. But yeah, butt plugs work, so take it away.
Okay, here are my butt plugs. You can follow me on Twitter at Stellar Ghost and Tumblr at Interstellar Princess. And of course, please check out my Podcabbages, which is the Avatar: The Last Airbender podcast I do with Noah, my husband. Also on the Noise Space Network. it's an extremely good time. We have fun.
It's a great podcast. It's like, honestly, I listen to a lot of podcasts, but like when it comes to the ones I actually stay up to date with, my Podcabbages is one of like the only two. So
yeah.
Aww.
As someone who, I mean, has seen very few Avatar: The Last Airbender, I still enjoy it because I enjoy you too. You're very cute.
Oh, thank you.
my own boyfriend even said, yeah, it's the best podcast on Noise Space.
Wow.
And I was like, rude. And he was like, I mean, it's true though. I was like, I mean, sure. I mean, to be fair, he also has like 3 podcasts on the network. So like,
yeah, I'm very faux offended right now. Nah. Yeah. It's also so cute. And you're like, my husband. I don't know why. I just love it when someone says, my wife, my husband.
Sometimes I feel like I'm being annoying, but there's like not really a better word for what he is, which is my husband.
the thing is, I stand domestic.
Hell yeah.
I can't say the word. I stand your domestic partnership.
Yeah, me too. Domesticity?
Yes, I can't say it. It's a hard word.
It is. Okay. Stephanie?
Yeah, you can find me on Tumblr at Windfall Island. You can find me on Twitter at Age of Oddish, and that's really all the places that I am.
Yeah, I'm only on Tumblr, and I'm Tumblr user Dork Phoenix.
You sure are.
That is who I be. So I think that's it for this week, and that's it for season 2. So you will find us next week with season 3, which we're very excited about.
We are so excited for season 3. There's so many good stories. We've got some guests lined up, and I'm so excited about all of it. It's going to be good. Well, I'm not excited about one episode, but other than that, I'm excited about everything. So,
but yep, thank you so much, Summer, for coming on again. We're always happy to have you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was very fun. I love to be here.
More gals, the better. That's what I always say. So that's it. So goodbye, everyone.
Good night. Or bye. Good. I don't know. What time are you listening to this podcast? Good day.
Misty watercolored memories of the way we were. Scattered pictures of the smiles we left behind, smiles we gave to one another. What's too painful to remember? We simply choose to forget. So is the laughter. We will remember whenever we remember the way we were, the way we were.
honor to sing for you, Miss Presley. Thank you.